Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Günther from the Technical University of Darmstadt in Germany, and today I'm going to present you, on behalf of my co-authors, the results of our work titled Smooth as Steel Wool: Effects of Visual Stimuli on the Haptic Perception of Roughness in Virtual Reality. Without much doubt, we all know virtual reality is fun. It allows us to explore amazing new worlds and to enjoy immersive experiences. However, these experiences are still mostly visual and limited in haptics, which is essential for more lifelike sensations. Although we are already capable to simulate physical touch through vibrotactile or pressure-based feedback, material characteristics of objects or the environment, such as temperature, stiffness, stickiness, and roughness, are less explored. In this work, we therefore investigated the aspects of roughness and took a deeper look into moving stroke sensations along the arm with different levels of roughness. Further, we studied how haptic and visual stimuli affect the perception of roughness in virtual reality for matching and realistic experiences. For this, we first conducted a pre-study with 40 participants in order to identify the expected roughness of 50 different items and potential visualizations. Then, we took 10 of these items, clustered according to their expected roughness, and conducted a second user study with 31 participants to investigate the interdependency of haptic stroking stimuli and visualizations. In addition, we compared the effects on perceived roughness, matching, realism, and pleasantness with state-of-the-art vibrotactile phantom sensations and real-world materials of the visualizations. That being said, through our pre-study we were able to gather 10 visualizations categorized into 5 levels of roughness: a very smooth spoon and silk fabric, a smooth cotton pad and fingertip, a neither smooth nor rough bottom side of a sponge and toothbrush, a rough wooden stick and edgy rock, and a very rough piece of steel wool and a sandpaper file. All of them were then modeled in 3D, as you can see here, for the follow-up study where we explored how they interact with haptic stroke stimuli. For the haptic stroke stimuli, therefore, we use different physical textures: a very smooth, high-gloss strip of polyethylene and 4 gradations of sandpaper with different roughness. Then, we mounted them on silicone actuators that could be moved along the arm on a guiding rail. The actuators were inflatable in order to provide an even contact with the skin. In addition to these 5 textures, we also designed actuators that were using the real-world materials of each visualization as one of our baselines. Overall, this resulted in 9 haptic stimuli consisting of the 5 textures, the real physical materials, a state-of-the-art vibrotactile actuation using phantom sensations, the silicone actuator without any textures, and a no haptics baseline that did not apply any haptic stimulus. All of them were then combined with the 10 previously selected visualizations and a no visual baseline for a total of 99 conditions. So, how did this look during the study? As you can see here, we used a stationary setup that could move all physical actuators along the arm to provide the haptic stroking stimuli depending on the condition. The participant, however, was situated in a virtual environment, seeing a similar room and, most importantly, the current visualization of a condition moving synchronously to the haptic stimulus along the arm of the virtual avatar. After each condition, we then asked the participants to rank the following item on 5-point scales in questionnaires: the perceived roughness of the haptic stimulus, the roughness of the shown visualization, the matching of the haptic stimulus and visualization, the consistency of the actuation with real-world experiences, and the pleasantness of the actuation. In total, we had 31 individuals participating during the study, and we analyzed their responses with various statistical methods which are described in more detail in the paper. The analysis revealed several interesting things, of which I would like to highlight the most important. Most interestingly, we found that 2 distinct textures were sufficient for a matching and realistic experience. Both matching and realism ratings were always high as long as the haptic stimulus was close to the expected roughness of a visualization. In particular, very rough haptic stimulus could match all visualizations that were either rough or very rough, while on the other side, a smooth stimulus matched all visualizations that were very smooth or smooth in their appearance. As consequence, future haptic devices could save physical space by providing less physical textures and are still able to create the illusion of a matching and realistic experience. Second, some visualizations had different expected roughness as the haptic stimulus, but were still rated high in their matching. For example, the spoon only worked well with a smooth texture, but not with a rough one. The steel wool, on the other side, only worked well with a rough texture, but not with a smooth one. However, it was different for the rock. Although the visualization was visually perceived as rough when it was combined with a smooth stimulus, the participants still gave a high matching rating. Hereby, we could observe that this resulted by a change in the general notion of the rock, as participants could also interpret the rock as a rather smooth pebble instead of the edgy rock they typically had in mind. As a result, the haptic stimulus is able to override the anticipated roughness expectations of visualizations on the other side of the roughness scale, as long as the object would also occur naturally as smooth or rough, even if the initial notion would be contrary. Further, we could identify that the pleasantness rating depends not only on the roughness, but also on the matching of a haptic stimulus and visualization. In general, smooth stimuli are perceived more pleasant compared to rough stimuli, which is also in line with existing work. However, we could also observe that also smoother visualizations felt significantly more unpleasant when combined with rough or very rough stimuli than rougher visualizations with the same rough haptic stimuli. For example, when using a rough texture with a spoon, it was rated as unpleasant, but combining the rough texture with a more matching toothbrush, the pleasantness of the actuation was rated higher. This is particularly interesting result as it can be used for future applications to ensure pleasant experiences when using matching stimuli, however, also to intentionally create unpleasant settings by opposing haptic and visual roughness. To summarize, we investigated the effects of visual stimuli on the haptic perception of roughness in virtual reality through 2 user studies and found that 2 levels of roughness are sufficient for a realistic and matching experience, that visualizations can adapt to haptic stimuli, and that the pleasantness depends on roughness and matching, along with other findings which can be found in the paper. With that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to contact me. Thank you.